hospital charges for a 4-day stay with the flu. How much do you think then insurance charges the patient? So go on, think your numbers. Today it's going to be fun. We will find out. We will talk about how the information is presented for a 4-day hospital stay bill, framing effects and transparency, and what HR and product managers can learn from it. But first, the answers. Okay. Oh my gosh. $1,000. So this is my dad's bill. He had the flu. He's totally fine now, but he was charged $1,000 for this. When I first got this, he's fine. I was not. And I was like, I'm going to have to spend hours on the phone fighting this. This is totally unfair. He has Medicare. He has a second. He has United. What's going on? And then I clicked on the details. And when you click on the details, one, it's super overwhelming, and you're like, wow, what's going on here? But we'll zoom in on this, which is basically, it seems like the hospital stay was about $124,000, and insurance paid a whopping $123,000, which it comes out to 99%. Insurance paid 99% of the bill, over 99%. They left me with 0.08% of the bill. And so this is fascinating. In no world are they bragging about how much they paid or showing up leveling. I'm having to do multiple clicks in order to figure out how much they're paying on my behalf. But in reality, they're paying a lot on my behalf. And so what is happening here is a general framing effect. You would never, and you may remember this kind of older study, you would never frame something like 25% fat. You would always frame it as 75% fat free or 75% lean, right? Because when we lead with the positive affect, more people have higher affinity for this, kind of like a duh. And so the insurance company now is leading with the 1% of fees that I have to cover versus the 99% of fees that they covered on my behalf. So quite interesting. The other thing I would say here is there is like a lot of charges here, and none of them say 100% covered. There's always like a little something that we're having to cover. And I think this is probably leaving something more on the table. Like, why are we so angry at insurance companies? Well, it's like we're putting a lot in, and are we getting a lot out? And I think a very easy solve for this could be actually what the organic beef industry has figured out. They would never say grass-fed beef. They would always say 100% grass-fed beef. The idea of something fully being covered 100% is very enticing. And that's obviously why we like free as well. It's not just like a big discount, it's free. And so insurance companies, they have covered so much for us, but they're still leaving a little bit for us to do. And it seems like maybe you just give me the CT scan for free. You know, you're getting what, Kristen, you're getting the EKG for free, you're getting the CT scan. Like, yeah, you kind of got to pay for that occupational therapy. But the idea of getting things for free could actually probably help with some of this negative affect that's going on. And so the first insight here is how information is presented or framed can affect decisions and perceptions, obviously. And by emphasizing cost instead of the amount that's covered, the insurance company has just not helped themselves. They have not framed their contribution in a positive light. And so maybe the implication for this is two things. For this specific insight is, one is we all get bills. We get notices for bills all the time. What would it look like to add some 75% lean, 75% fat free to that bill instead of just the 25% fat or the cost? And employers, you're kind of doing the same thing as these insurance companies, which is you cover so much for us. Employers tend to, they have their benefits. You're obviously getting paid. You may have a lifestyle or an HSA account. Look, there's a lawyer and an admin, and there's all of this stuff that goes around running a company that's actually supporting you, that you don't have to pay if you were a freelancer or self-employed. You would have to pay this yourself. And so employers are kind of not focusing on some of that benefit that they're giving us and just focusing on maybe the pay. When somebody comes and say, hey, can I have a raise? And you say no, that's not a great conversation, even though you've still spent a lot of money on this person throughout the year. So I'm not saying don't ask for a raise, but I am saying for the employers, this could be a conversation topic. And it bleeds right into the really second big insight here is showing effort. And I'm excited about this one because in a world with algorithms going to kind of continue or start to rule the game, we may need to show our customers that we are actually working for them. And in this case, the insurance company has not. Like, did you negotiate on my behalf? Did you approve claims that others may not have? Like, what work have you done on my behalf to make this a palpable number? And it's kind of reflective of an older study Ryan Bell and Mike Norton did around showing government effort, where they basically did two versions of a website. One that was more like, hey, here's how many potholes that we filled, and one that was like, here's how many potholes we filled, but like, can you like look there, you can like click in and like see the actual work that somebody did. And in that case, people gave the government more credit, so basically thought that the government should have more credit, and they also thought the government had a better effect on their life outcomes. And so this is interesting. Just by visually showing the effort that you're doing, you can actually have a better relationship with your customers and your employees, likely. Okay, so these are kind of the macro insights. One is thinking about framing. You want to be the 75% lean. You don't want to be this 25% cost, and showing your effort. And this really applies to not only your customers, but really the employee-employer relationship. And I think insurance companies, I'm not saying that we have a great relationship with them, and I don't really want to make macro commentary on the healthcare industry and the incentives, which are messed up in many, many ways, and insurance companies are for sure to blame for a lot of this. But they paid $124,000 of my dad's bill. I'm kind of okay with it. Like, I'm okay paying this $1,000 right now. And so now I just got to go figure out what all this other stuff is, huh?